we discussed earlier, just before we come on, the speed of some of these things, these processes. There's a huge variance. We're talking, Mark, of the application of some applications for disclosure could take 6 months, by which time that data could be somewhere else and probably is somewhere else already. And yet, in the Charlie Hebdo case, the FBI requested information, and I think they got it within 30 minutes.
It was a very short period, and of course, as a practical matter, we do this at scale. We've got a large team, about as many people probably were in this room working on dealing with all these requests around the world in real time. But you can preserve data. This goes to, again, the United States law has really been defining how we all approach these things from that 1986 Stored Communications Act. But and if you want content data, the one exception where we can voluntarily give it to you is when we are given enough information as a service provider that we have a well-founded belief that the disclosure of the information to another government is necessary to prevent loss of human life or prevent serious bodily injury. And so on those terrorism cases, we can respond very quickly. And we think that a European solution should include a similar provision, because I think practically saying that's worked well. Now, the MLAT process is designed not for really investigations, but it's so that you can present evidence in a court trial. And the result of that is, it's 5.5 months with the FBI and then 2 weeks with us. Right?
So it's not fit for purpose, really.
Well, it is for a particular purpose, but not fit for the purpose of running investigations and trying to solve cyber crimes at scale, because there's just too many of them. And police are challenged trying to address all the crimes that are committed, but the difficulty of the MLAT process is it really is designed for a very sophisticated instance which doesn't address things. And I think that, look, there's no reason why that can't be changed.
Okay. Catherine, just one point John made was about the size of the team that Microsoft has to deal with. And we always think about the big service providers. What about the small providers? How could a small provider really manage this legal process and even know really where to begin with if they're presented with a request for disclosure?
Well, I think at the moment, the team that John is speaking about also deals with all the requests that, from the perspective of US law, are voluntary. And of course, here at the moment, service providers have a choice. They can just choose not to voluntarily disclose content data, and then they will only get, at least from abroad, those requests that come through mutual legal assistance. And those, of course, every service provider, small or large, will have to contend with. That's a part of doing business in a country, is that you have to respond to the authorities. And I think if we can come to a solution that is more unified, more harmonized, then maybe that would make it actually easier for some of the smaller service providers to deal with the different requests that they receive, because they might be more standardized.
Okay, Marco, do you think that centralized, like a clearinghouse for requests, would help smaller providers and maybe even help the large providers as well?
That might help, and if there are some agreed standards, cooperation, information exchange procedures, and also points of contacts. But still, as Catherine mentioned, that this information disclosure takes place on a voluntary basis, and therefore it is the case that direct cooperation is not possible with all the service providers abroad.
But is it voluntary when, for example, a United States court would hold a European provider in contempt of court and then perhaps hypothetically block them from the United States market?
Well, that would be like a Belgian case.